Hello, podcast listeners. First up, thank you so much for listening to and supporting the podcast. We really, really appreciate it. We love doing it and we love getting the amazing comments in from all of you. Just a quick reminder that the Your Success book is out now on amazon.co.uk and amazon.com. It's currently available in both paperback and Kindle, and the audiobook will be coming out in 2019. Head to tiny.cc/yourbook to check it out. That's tiny.cc/yourbook to check it out. Now, on with the podcast.
Welcome to Your Success Podcast. We give you actionable insight and stories behind real-life success wherever you go. Here are your hosts, Angelos and Mo.
Welcome to Your Success Podcast. I'm Mo.
And I'm Angelos.
And today we've got a very special episode. We are talking about the importance of celebrating your wins. And are you celebrating your wins enough and often enough? So Angelos, why is it important to celebrate your wins? Well, firstly, what do we mean by wins? And then why is it important to celebrate them?
Okay, so your success journey, whatever that means to you, maybe it's creating a multi-million-pound empire, or maybe it's doing something for the community, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a long-term process, journey. And think of it like this: you're running a marathon, right? So it's a very long, strenuous process. You're going to come across many hurdles internally, externally, etc., etc. But along the way, you need encouragement. Go on, Mo. Why are you smiling?
Just visualising a marathon where you have to go over loads of hurdles. As if running 26.2 miles isn't enough. Yeah. It's like a tough mudder on the way.
There could be some problems along the way. You know, that you could have bottles chucked at you. I don't know. There could be.
Sorry, I just got the. Go on. It was a really good point.
It was a really good point, actually. It was a tremendously good point. Before we're sidetracked. Anyway, so there's probably going to be loads of metaphorical hurdles along the way, and you need to make sure that you've got, or you take the time out during these 26 miles to just chill out a little bit, maybe take a sip of water, just relax, enjoy the moment, and then carry on again. You feel recharged, you feel ready for the next 10 miles, whatever it may be if you break it up into chunks. And the same applies in business, right? So, for example, you're aiming for a 20 million pound turnover this year, but you're starting at, I don't know, 5 or something smaller like that. Every time you hit a 5 or a 10 million pound goal, you and your team need to go out there and celebrate success, because it builds great motivation, it builds great enthusiasm, and then you're recharged and you're ready to go again. What's your view on it, Mo?
I think you're right. I think it's all too easy to overlook and forget the work that's gone in to create your success journey. And actually today we had our monthly team meeting. And I was doing the slides for it because it was a strategy session. That's easy for me to say.
That's easy for you to say.
A strategy session. So we were reviewing what we'd done in 2018 and sort of communicating to the team the goals and plans for 2019 and stuff like that. And actually going through what we'd achieved in 2018 was like insane. It was incredible. If I'd sat down at the beginning of 2018 and written down all the things that we achieved in that year, I'd be like, no way would we do that. And some things are better, some things are worse. You know, there's always a mix. But I hadn't pretty much for the whole of 2018 taken a step back and said, wow, look what we've achieved. Because actually you're so blinkered to be like, this is where we're going and this is what we want to achieve, that you don't really take time to just pause and reflect on how well you're doing. And I think it's important, because otherwise, what's the point? You're just going to keep going. You're never going to be satisfied with what you've achieved because you're always looking to the next thing. You have to take some time out and celebrate small wins, because like you said, it's a marathon. It's a long journey to get to where you want to get to, and actually you'll never get there anyway, because your ambitions will always increase as you go.
And it's very easy for ambitious people to, just like you said, be blinkered, constantly driving forward, to hell with anything else. This is my single obsessed mission to achieve these goals. And you
absolutely have to be obsessed to get what you want. You have to be completely committed to it, completely obsessed, which is cool and fine and absolutely necessary. But to keep your motivation, your inspiration going, you have to appreciate how far you've come. And also it will make you feel like, if you break things up, it will make you feel like that next jump is that much easier because you look at what you've already achieved.
It's like a pit stop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't expect a Formula One driver to just keep going on one set of tires.
Yeah.
You've got to refresh, you've got to reload, and you carry on with more enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Because you need to take time to look back and reflect like you did with your team.
Yeah.
And realise, actually, Jesus Christ, we've done a hell of a lot this year. Imagine what we could do next year. And then your own goals get bigger and bigger and more ambitious because you realise, actually, we've done a lot.
Okay, another F1 metaphor.
Oh, go on.
If Lewis Hamilton doesn't celebrate every race victory that he gets, if you say he goes 5 races and he wins 5, and then the 6th one he loses and he hasn't celebrated those 5 victories, he just commiserates at losing the 6th. Like, what's the point? Because you're always going to get to a point probably where that streak ends, but actually you could have had 5 amazing celebrations in their own right. It's an outstanding achievement and more than 99.999% of the population will ever achieve anyway in that particular sport. Celebrate those successes along the way, because probably at some point you're going to come up against some hardship or a failure, and you need to have something to be like, okay, cool, that didn't work, but I've had 5 things that I've celebrated and it's gone really well.
And it puts the loss into perspective.
Yeah.
It's like 5 out of, 1 loss out of 5 is not too bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's really important to do.
And we talk about perspective and gratitude in the Your Success book, audio book out soon.
Yeah, indeed. Audio version of Your Success, the #1 best-selling book on how to be successful. So yeah, really excited about that. But Mo, we wrote about in the book about how being ambitious but also having gratitude are almost polar opposites, and how they contradict each other. So how do you reconcile that contradiction?
So gratitude is being grateful for where you are, but ambition is acknowledging that it's not where you want to be. And it is almost like a polar opposite, like they're pulling against each other, but you do need to have both. You can't always live in a state of desiring and wanting more and being ambitious, because you will never be satisfied, and there's no joy in that. Like, there's no joy in just living in that state constantly. So you need to have gratitude. But if you live in the grateful state solely for your whole life, you're never going to challenge yourself, because you're going to be like, right, I'm very comfortable and I'm in my comfort zone and I'm grateful for what I've got and I don't really need any more and I don't need to do anything more and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you need to live in both, and they need to pull, and you need to be like, almost like, I don't know whether it's a balance or whether it's a swing. I feel like it's more of a swing, because actually you swing one way and you're like extremely grateful, and then you swing the other way and become completely committed to achieving your goal, and then you swing back. I don't think there isn't really a balance, because it's sort of binary. Like, you have to. For
me, it's more of a tension.
Yeah.
It's like an elastic band. Sometimes
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And then, I mean, for the people listening at home, I've got my 2 hands. And they're not 2 ducks facing each other. I'm just trying to symbolise what an elastic band looks like.
Because you've said that before, like you pull from both, and then you ping, and then you fly because of the tension that's built up, which I think is probably quite a good metaphor.
But yeah, you don't want to go too far one side, because otherwise you'll never, like you said, if you're constantly living in that state of drive, ambition, you'll never feel fulfilled, because you'll never feel like you've succeeded at anything.
Did you ever have those little paper pellets at school where you like rolled a bit of paper up into like about that long, and then bent it over so it's like a V shape?
So we used to have tournaments at lunchtime, and I was on the team with a couple of friends of mine, I won't mention their names, and we used to like harden them up. Really compact. We had desks for shields. But then we thought, no, this is not dangerous enough, man. So we got drawing pins and we pushed it through the middle. And it was a great idea until I got hit in the eye, and it hurt like hell.
Serious,
and I totally didn't scream like a girl. And that's sometimes an interesting discussion.
So what I was going to say is those, whatever we're going to call them, V-shaped paper pellets, if you've got an elastic band and it's pulling from both sides of gratitude and ambition, like the more you pull at that both ways, when you pull back on your paper pellet with a bit of safety pin, what's it called? Drawing pin inside. No, not drawing pin. No. That's a pin. You mean paper clip?
No, I mean the actual pin in the wall.
What, you put that in the end of your animal?
We're hardcore, mate.
I thought you meant you got a paper clip, straightened it out, and threaded it through the centre of the thing to give it like almost like a reinforced bar.
This isn't nursery school. This is secondary school. This is hardcore.
Yeah, that is hardcore. Okay. So anyway, the more you're pulling from gratitude and ambition, when you actually go to pull that back, you're going to shoot further. Yeah. And I think that's the thing, because if you're only pulling from one, gratitude, and ambition's following, or you're pulling from ambition but gratitude's following, there's no tension in the band, and you need that tension to propel yourself forward. There you go.
So those of you listening at home or watching, please let us know if you also used other types of weapons at school. We'd love to know.
What else was there? God, yeah, no, let's not get into that.
Yeah,
very dangerous.
Go off on a tangent slightly. We used to have this thing called chicken wars.
Right.
Where you would jump onto someone else's back and they would hold you piggyback style, and then you'd swing the person on your back left and right with their legs, and against the opponent, who would also be on the person's back, and then you jump on them, whatever else. And you'd always want to go for the heavier friend as your base, because they've got a good strong base.
Yeah. Were you on the base?
How dare you, sir? How dare you? Right, Mo. So, sharing some examples of celebrating your wins on your success journey. So, whilst you're in hysterics over your own joke, I'm gonna
like you never do that.
So, what we do
between
between the two of us, we always celebrate our podcast wins or our book wins with a cheeky trip to Nando's.
We do.
And that's just a small little win, just to celebrate at the end of a hard day.
Yeah.
It could be something as small as that.
Well, that's it, because at the end of the day, like, without tooting my own trumpet or horn or whatever you say, like, I got up at 5:30 this morning, and I got, actually 5:15, got on a train at 6:30 to come down here, all day of meetings, and then we record like 3 podcasts in a day. I'm not complaining, because that's the decisions I've made, it's my life choices. But like, once we've done that, I think let's just go and have Nando's, or let's just go and let's go and eat out and celebrate and talk about things that we want to talk about. So I think that's completely fair. You've got to celebrate the small things, especially if you're working hard. Like, you've got to do it.
From a business point of view, so every time I complete on a purchase of a property, I go and take my wife out, we have a great meal, have a really good weekend, because I know there's probably a shed load of work next week. But for that one moment, I can just relax and enjoy. I think that's really important, to just pause and enjoy.
It's so easy to miss. I said earlier, before we started recording, there's a couple of HMO purchases that we've made, which...
HMO?
HMO.
What does that stand for?
HMO is a house in multiple occupation, so a shared house, basically like a student house or working professional shared house. There's a couple that we've completed on this year, where a few years ago, completing on one house is a massive deal, and to most people, buying an investment property is a massive deal. But there's a couple that we've completed on this year on a Friday, and I've only realised that it's happened, as in I knew it was happening on Friday, but I only actually stopped and been like, oh cool, we completed another house on like the next Wednesday or Thursday. And it's like, that used to be like the epitome of like amazing, like, let's celebrate. And it's so easy to miss, and it's so important to celebrate it.
But that's also a sign that you're scaling up, right?
Yeah. But also, like I said before, you can't miss those things, because actually that is important to remember. If you're having a bad day, or if things aren't going right, it's important to remember, actually, we completed on 3 HMOs in the last 2 months, or whatever the metric is, like, because then that's your gratitude talking, rather than your sort of ambition.
Yeah.
So very important not to miss it. Very easily missed when you're blinkered and
especially. I mean, we talked about delayed gratification in the book, didn't we? And it is important not to go out there and start celebrating wins by buying Ferraris and all these expensive things, and to the detriment of your success journey, right?
It depends what the win is, right? If you've sold a business, it's got to be it's proportional. It's all relative. Yeah. If you sold a business and you've worked 20 years on, and you've delayed gratification, and you finally got an amount of money that will see your family right, and you can invest, and you've got some disposable that you can spend, buy a Ferrari. If you've written a chapter of your book, or if you've got through a couple of things on your to-do list, probably don't buy a Ferrari. Because it's not a proportional like celebration.
Yeah, I mean, if you made your first sale.
If you sold your
first computer.
Or if you sold your first copy of your book for $12.99, of which you make $4.99,
Yeah, do not go out there and get a bloody Ferrari. It's probably not the best time to do that. But it's important to delay your gratification, but also stagger that delay as well with mini wins. So yeah, it's really important to do that. We want to know what your thoughts are at home. How do you celebrate your wins? You've heard how we do it. You've also heard how we used to entertain ourselves at school with various degrees of weaponry. So please share whatever you'd like to share with us at hello@yoursuccesspodcast.com. Please contact us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole lot. We love to hear from you. We mentioned earlier that our audiobook version of Your Success, where we've added extra mini podcasts within the chapters just to give you extra values coming out in the next month or so. Really excited about that, so please stay tuned. That'll be on Audible. And yeah, please get in contact with us.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what other people do to celebrate their successes and sort of what rituals they have or how they celebrate things, because it'd be quite nice to share some of those. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you for listening to Your Success Podcast. I've been Angelos.
And I've been Mo.
And see you again in the next exciting episode.
You have been listening to Your Success Podcast. Click subscribe for more incredible content. More details can be found at www.yoursuccesspodcast.com.